federations are not running the way they're supposed to be. They're not functioning the way they're supposed to be because each federation has to have separate, different subcommittees that deals with certain things, and 90% of the federations around here they're not functioning that way. So you have a one man, sometimes a 2-man, 3-man running a federation, and all the things can't get done. So that's why, hence, a lot of these situations that you see are happening. So we need to first again stop electing our friends and on our partners and figure because he in charge, I could get this done and get that done, and start to think about the whole aspect of the sport that you're controlling, the general population of the sport, and the people who are getting involved in the sport. Because again, if we don't have those functioning subcommittees, your federation is as good as doomed.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, Karl. Do you not think that the challenge that we have here in the BVI, before we think about a solution, I'm just kind of thinking about the challenges, is that because of the size of the territory that we have here, there's only a handful of people who are actually presently capable of running, because we've tried, I've seen some associations where you say, well, let's try this person, and it causes so much confusion, you have to go back to the original people that you had.
I'm going to answer that this way, Paul. In anything is this trial and error. You try, but then again, if we don't start developing, because it's not everybody's going to be athletic. If we don't start identifying and start to bring in people in a different areas, well, we're going to always have that say, and we always have that problem. You could learn the school, start from the school system, because that's where everything really starts, from the school system. If you start to select people who are good in academics, some are good in athletics, then even though that person might be good in athletics, they could carry us to this level, but we still need that person in academics to help them to get the statistics and all that stuff done. We don't think that way.
So, Karl, I'm going to put my head on the blocker here, and then I'm going to pass over to you guys. But I have said for years that there is a serious flaw in our school system here, right? It is one of the only, I'm pretty sure it's the only school system in the world where they don't run activities as part of the school. So in other words, then there should be house games during school time, right? For all the sports. Don't blame me and say I want cricket in. No, it's not about cricket. I began to learn cricket right here in Tortol. I lived all my life.
At a late age.
And I started playing cricket when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
Give me a break, right? What about softball? What about basketball? What about volleyball? Right? All these sports should be played as house sports during school time, right? That's nothing to do with, don't confuse that with PE. That has nothing to do with PE, right? And the school periods are too long. These kids are spending too much time. You think about it. They tell you after 30 minutes the child's bum gets, and the brain goes
attention span goes.
It goes. Yes. So that's why after 30 minutes or so they need to be into a new period, right? It's only when you get into fourth form you put them into the lab where they're spending long time. And the kids that are in there are ones that have that ability to really stay focused and they know what they want. But when you're putting a child into school at 8 o'clock in the morning and sending him back home at 3:30 in the afternoon, he's brain dead by the time he gets home.
And then you want to study after school and that kind of stuff.
And you want to try to study after school? They have homework to do.
They are brain dead.
Do you want to do homework after coming home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Give me a break. The child wants to sleep and take a break, right? So the school system needs to be reviewed, without a doubt. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
right. That's why we have things like with so many children who become adults and they're ill, they're overweight, they're unfit. All this diabetes, obesity, all these things are created because we haven't taught the children from a young age to stay fit and to stay healthy. Healthy body, healthy mind. It's all one.
But believe it or not, Paul, when we were growing up, we may not have all the facilities that the young ones have now, but all motor skills and stuff were learned by climbing, throwing stones from mangoes, playing marbles, handing out batting ball, and these are things that these modern day children don't do. So they spend more time on laptops, they spend more time on iPads. So
their hand-eye coordination is on an iPad.
Exactly, our phone. So it goes to show where why we are where we are and why we're not doing what it is we need to do. Because again, we lapse in the school system. We as sportsmen, we lapse because we're not doing the job that we're supposed to do. And again, sometimes we don't want to blame government, but we do have to include them because they don't understand what we understand, and it's our job to tell them what to do, but they're not listening.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to touch on the government yet, but let's let the guys back in here. Go ahead. Maltman, your feelings. We were just venting. You go ahead. You're actually in the middle of it.
The only thing I would say, as Karl said, our younger days, we was doing all kind of things, running all over the place, up and down, and nowadays it's showing more towards a computer.
Yes, yes, because in them time we had Shirley Mango treat them to go up and team them mango. You understand?
Carefully, you can still get in jail for that, you know.
I
record it.
I go to the beach and things like that in them time. We was more active, ready to do anything. Play. We used to ready for holiday.
Of course.
Listen,
Huh?
We started holidays early. We couldn't wait to get to the beach.
listen, guys, as we talking basketball, we're going to be in basketball a lot this year. Let me ask all three of you a question, and I wanted to answer. I don't want to say same. Not allowed to say same as he say on this question, okay? So I'm going to ask you last. Right? but you first. What do you think has to be done differently to get the league back to where it was when the days when Joggy was president and Joggy went on our concrete court and you couldn't get in because the place was full? People sitting up on the wall, people outside standing up, can't get in because the place was jam-packed. Just as during the league, isn't it in the finals? This is during the league. I walk in the place in the league and there's 5 people sitting down watching a basketball game. And what is going on? How can we get back to that?
I think the league that just finished, kind of starting back there to me. The district, as they put it, as a district. So the guys them living in the various districts, the persons living in the various districts are coming out to support the various.
Okay. What's your view on that?
My thing is, stop having the game them at one place. Let us look at the area. Fix up bleachers in Eastern Longlook area, fix the court. And we have a game up there. Don't care whether it's outside or what it is. We have a game up there. And we have, instead of being tongue, that's where you see the game this year is really good because they're carried to Wajangara. Because
whose idea was that, by the way? What's that? People can't hear you. They can't
my
hear you.
idea was, what I mean? It was my idea because Maltman showed me a picture of the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, wait, Maltman, the gym, the floor down already. What kind of stupid is this, the man? They need a game up there. So I have a buddy up there named Spanner.
Yes.
So Spanner was close to the minister. As a Spanner, tell the minister there, right? That come to the president and need a game up for Jangada. And not next year. No. And then I hear the game
Taking the Virgin Garden.
take it to Virgin Garden. That's where you will see things jump start. And also, it's not about playing in the gym anymore. Entertainment also will bring people to the game. You're having the school have pam-pam and girls and things like that. And also you create singing. We have a lot of entertainers here. Guys could bring in singing and things like that, but the roof will need fix because it's noisy.
Okay, we're going to come to that physics in a minute, but let Karl answer the question.
You tell me, but I have to agree with Joggy and Matt.
Okay, you're fired.
No, but we have to go back to basics.
Go ahead.
When we were growing up, it was all about the villages. Every village and every sport came together and competed. And I think the association made the right effort when they started this district league. It waited too long before, like JoJack said, before it goes out to the different districts. But I'm assuming based on what happened now, once the recreation trust gets all the different areas fixed up, then we could say we're going back into the villages. Because I remember the days of that. Because that brings the families along, and like you said, there's a lot more people that play that can do more sport than just basketball. You have the girls may want to get involved in the different stuff, you know. So the entertainment that comes with it, it would boost all the sports and not just basketball, all the sports in the area. So I do agree with that because that's how we started, and that was it was. And I say, if it didn't mash up, don't fix it. That was a mash up then, so we didn't need to fix it. We just need to go back to it.
Right. So you actually stole my thunder there a bit.
Well, of course, you know.
I shouldn't have invited you here
Paul
today.
and Karl.
It's really and truly the recreation trusts have to make a
great effort.
I didn't want to attack them
Yes.
too much, but make an effort to really get all the facilities up and running because that is their responsibility,
Yes.
Dawn, right? So that is their responsibility to get these different venues up and running, as Maltman rightly said. Then, and JoJack, then we go to the districts and each individual games are played there. You know, what happens then is that mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters,
Grandmothers and
grandmothers and grandfathers all begin to see their children playing, right? And they all become very interested. When you now bring a semi-final or quarter-final to the big venue in town, right? Virgin Gorda comes down, East End comes down, West comes down, Seacoast Bay comes, everybody comes in because they want to see their team play now. And now you have a situation where you have a packed house.
And not only that too, Paul, you have to understand too, I mean, a lot of folks who would love to see the games can't get to the games, a lot like our grandparents and stuff. You know, it's easier for them to come in their village and say, well, let me sit down and watch my grandson play. And you'd be surprised if you need any assistance financially. I mean, these are the people who will say, okay, well, hey, I see this, I want them, you know. And they give in, but it has to happen, you know, like you just rightly said, those different venues needs to be up and running so we can do things.
And the next problem we have is where which Karl speak about the committees and the association. They don't sit down and get together before the league and plan it and get the team get themselves organized with uniform, you know, and things like that. And also, they don't come and publicize it. They don't come on radio and speak about it. You know,
Let me shine a light on you on that. The role of association or federation is just to govern leagues. You know, if you need assistant and coaching and stuff like that, they're responsible not to put on leagues. You know, the responsible for putting on leagues is because is between the clubs, and that's something that we do wrong. All association job is okay. If you need help in coaches, if you need help in referees, we're gonna finance that.
Well, Karl, you actually mean the federations.
Yeah,
Because
the head of the head of the federations.
What happens here is that we combine the federations and the associations.
Yes.
So the associations are really the clubs. The federation is the head body.
Exactly.
So it is not the federation's responsibility.
To put on the-
It
to-
should not be.
You're right.
But of course here,
Yeah, the clubs.
federation,
The clubs, the basketball teams is who's supposed to be doing leagues, or the football teams are who's supposed to be doing leagues, not the federation. The federation only supposed. So if you want a national team, that's where the federation comes in.
comes in.
But it comes based on your information, your input. You say, okay, well, this guy is good, that guy is good. Then, you know, we find a way to accommodate.
I speak about advertising and come in and sit down. You see how we sit down and talk about what the plan is.
Well,
Promotion.
you talk about a PRO.
Yeah,
They should
PRO,
get-
but
they should
They should have all of that.
Yeah.
The PRO come in.
That's
sit
part
down.
of the challenge.
But it don't happen. You
We
see.
don't have a lot of
Because they
good
don't yet.
PROs.
They don't get genuine PROs involved in the associations. They just put somebody wants to be a part of the association, so that person becomes a PRO.
That's the same thing I spoke about.
Yes.
Yeah, put them people in place who doesn't have a clue of what is going on.
But sometimes you ask them, they do not.
Well,
show.
yeah, but that's the other side of the coin.
It's like you begging them
Yeah.
to do something what they supposed to glad to come and say, Paul, come in with you.
You see, I just get very quickly. In the NBA, part of their contract for players is they must speak to the media. They get fined for talking to the media, you know. So don't mind you see us smiling there.
Yeah.
Hey, because they want to come and talk, you know. They know that they have to talk. Here, you know, I remember when I first used to go out, let's say to softball games. People say if you come to me, Michael, and they tell me a few choice words. But I kept on going and going and going until eventually I used the technique where I would go to one team and interview. The other team then wouldn't say a word. And then I played it on the radio, and when they heard it, the other team would be offended and say, oh, you put up and say, I said, but I came and spoke to you. And eventually everybody started talking to me. That's how Paul and the Ball became popular. but I had to use trickery and kind of like, you know, to get them to...
Not tricky, psychology.
Well, it is, sorry.
We're-
See why Karl is
we're in
here
the
today?
21st century.
I was wondering why I invite you. No, I know.
21st century. But
So
you're absolutely correct. The players are who hype the games. And the problem that we have is there's so much limited PROs, like Paul and myself. Everybody wants us to be in an association. We can't do all of this on every association. That's why we have to train people to take up that role. I know a lot of people who can talk. You find a man who can talk, you say, hey, you know, you'll be good as this. Let's train him to that. And that's how it starts.
Look at they invite someone out of the association to come and air, and they refuse.
But you have a good PRO in your district. Master Pemberton, he's very good. That's somebody now could be trained into that area.
Massa is doing the post
yeah.
press conferences from the games.
Okay.
And that's somebody now you could say, okay, for zone 6, we have a press man. Zone 8 need to do it, 45 district need to do it, 1st district need to do it. So then, you know, you have pool of people where you could come from. So even at the games, you can have 3 or 4 commentators. You commentating on yours, I commentating on mine. And it makes it interesting. Because even if we don't get to see the game, at least we could listen to it and we could hear the different opinions from the different sides. And that's how things start.
But what's your view on that? You've been a little quiet over there.
I think it's a good thing.
Man, okay with us.
Maltman, be very careful.
He's a man of limited speech.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to get to talk now.
Yeah.
We only have about 5 minutes left, Maltman.
But-
So, okay, go on. I have a question for Maltman, but I'm going to take the last 2 minutes to ask him.
But Paul,
Uh-huh.
let me tell you this here. I have to big up Karl for joining me up with prison refereeing games and things like that. I couldn't leave.
When did I
without
choose?
saying so.
When did I choose?
Me, Paul, and Mal. But this
You,
for
Paul.
right. I mean,
Karl.
The name is too close.
Me, Karl, and Mal, man, you know, we used to go up to
Prison.
the prison and do games, you know, and every Christmas and weekends, you know, they call us, which I get him.
But that's why he said he was a part-time referee.
But you know what, Paul? Those are people too, not because they're incarcerated. We tend to leave them out with just about everything. And it was great going on. And he could tell you the level of competition up there, brother, man. It was like any league that we played.
Yeah.
What, 4 teams?
Yeah, because it had
And they were battle.
it
There was a real battle.
had some basketball players in there.
Well,
Some
all
real
over.
superstars.
I know.
Right.
So when
you
you
know.
miss them from out here, that's what I mean. Paul, the level of the games are, man.
Yes. Listen, 2 minutes left. So, Maltman, I have a question for you. I mentioned it at the beginning, and I'm going to bring it over the end now. Why did Anthony Joshua lose, and why did Tyson Fury win? Boxing for the who want to know. Those who don't know.
Fury, I would say, both men fought a good fight. Fury were able to come back and knock Wilder out.
Not good Wilder.
These things happen.
Do you think Anthony's going to do the same thing again and come back and regain his title?
It's possible.
That Russian is no joke, you know.
Yeah, but
It's going to be a harder one than before, for sure.
I somehow with that fight, I want to believe that the promoters, to me, they were too good to each other, and I think they kind of control Joshua.
Yes. I don't think it's going to be like that in the rematch. though.
Joshua, don't reach the power yet.
No.
Take your time.
No.
You know?
So it was a setup.
Yes.
It's
It's
money involved.
It'll be a different fight than a rematch.
And yes, because he has activated the rematch clause.
Yes, he
and
would.
all of that, so.
He would.
And my whole view about this thing, with the whole fraternity, they're not gonna put Fury or Joshua to fight each other.
And this is the whole thing because they were supposed to have fought from the beginning, and if Anthony Joshua would have taken a different approach, he wouldn't have fought.
It's not gonna happen.
They need to say things about Ali and Fraser as well, but it will eventually happen. But let's hope, wait until they're both in crutches to have the fight. But I think they will eventually, because after Anthony regains his title this time, trust me, the fights are going to happen. You'll see.
Possibility exists, but I doubt it.
Remember when you tried to get Ali and Fraser to fight? Eventually, what happened is that Ali lost, and then George Foreman ended up. In fact, Foreman lost, and then it became Ali and George fought, and then eventually they went around a full circle before Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier were able to fight everybody wanted to see. Eventually happened, but they had to go through a full circle.
It doesn't happen the time when the fans really want it. It comes sometime after.
All right, 1 minute, last comment, JoJack.
Hey, Paul, it's nice to be here on the show, which I listen to Wednesday time and also Tuesday with Miss P. Nice to be here. Thank you, my partner. This is my right hand, so anywhere you go, he go.
So I have to remember in the future when you come here right hand.
Yes.
What about your left hand over here now? We're going to take to the prison.
Yes, that's my body.
Karl?
What you want to hear? Paul, it's been a long time we haven't done something like this. And
it has.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure to be back with you. I see we're still thinking alike.
I'd like you to know I have a young high jumper now, by the way.
That's great to know.
Yeah,
Great to
I know you heard already.
Great to know.
I know you know everything that's going
and I'm glad that you're venturing out into that area. Cause,
I'm venturing.
I'm going to bring out some good pole vaulters and some good javelin throwers too. So
You are?
You'll be surprised to see.
Okay, I'll be happy to have a pole vault. We've been waiting for somebody to
take
break
your
my
record.
national record. Dean and I don't seem to be it.
But your record and my record has been standing for a long time.
It has. And they need to be broken. Me, you, and Dean need to get our names off the record book.
Of course.
Yes, it's been too long.
But I'd like to add that out of all of us, I'm probably the most decorated.
On that note, folks, I want to thank you for tuning in. I am Paul on the ball with me today. I've had Karl Scatliffe, of course, Nelson JoJack Hall, and
Roger
Maltman Williams. Yes, I really miss Maltman in the middle. And they all have typical West Indian multiple names. So until next week, well, it can't be good sports. This is not a sports show. This is not a sports show. Until next week, have a wonderful day. Stay safe and be good. Bye for now.
All right. Bye. Time. I gotta go.
Okay, good. Okay, folks. Again, appreciate you being there. Bye for now.